Hi guys, Eric with Graybeard Gardening PDX. I'm getting ready to cook up a ragu for myself and my friend. We're gonna try to use all of the Amish paste only, but I may end up throwing some San Marzanos in there if we need them as far as bulk of tomato. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the content. Just gonna show you what I do for my little ragu here. Okay guys, you see the mise en place. Everything in its place, ready to cook. This is the way that I like to cook. I do not like to stress out cutting things while I'm cooking. I like to concentrate on the one thing and basically have it very easy, like restaurant style cooking. So you can see that we've got our Amish paste, our San Marzanos, our celery and carrots. We have our shallots here, which are Dutch yellows, and we have some store-bought shallots to round out the group a little bit. I have more shallots, but they are very difficult to cut, and for this big of a project I wanted to take it easy on myself a little bit with some bigger shallots that were easier to prep. But we've got all that ready to go. We've got our salt, and we've also, actually I did forget to cut my garlic so far, so I need to get that going. We're going to add our carrots, our celery, and our shallots. And we're going to do some kosher salt, some black pepper, and that is the start of our Mirepoix. We'll let that cook for a little bit here and sweeten up all of those ingredients with all of that salt and pepper. Do a little bit more salt. Helps things break down a little bit. Okay guys, our Mirepoix has been going for about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes now. And we've got a great aroma coming out with all those carrots sweetening up and the celery breaking down and the onions. Oh, it just smells so good. I'm sorry, the shallots. But what I do is I typically will clear a little area in the middle here. And I'm throwing in about a tablespoon of butter. I like to have the little bit of fat content in there with my garlic, but we're going to now throw in our garlic here as that butter starts to go down. That'll keep our garlic from overheating while the butter is kind of nice and cool in the middle. And that's the way I introduce my garlic into a lot of my dishes, is just this technique. I'm sure someone will probably correct me that I'm doing it wrong, but the way that I see it is I don't want to burn my garlic or overcook it. So generally I try to be real gentle with when I put my garlic in, and right now we're putting this in right before we're going to add our tomatoes in here to start breaking down. And you can see that that butter has not even really gotten up to temp yet. Oh yeah, you can smell that garlic activating. Ooh. It smells so good. And this is part of why I love gardening, guys. Like, when you think about this, the garlic here is from our garden. That is our Sicilian garlic that we grew earlier this year. Some of the shallots are from our garden. All of the tomatoes are from our garden. Oh yeah, and that garlic is smelling perfect. Let's get those tomatoes in there. First, we're adding our Amish paste. Just gonna add all those. I like to add my tomatoes in very big chunks. And you can see those are our Amish paste, and then now we have our San Marzanos. We're gonna mix that up so that that garlic doesn't burn down at the bottom or start overcooking. Oh my goodness. And then with our tomatoes here, we're gonna add a little bit of pepper and a decent amount of kosher salt here. Help those things break down. Oh my God, that's gonna be delicious. Today I'm doing it a little bit different because we have so many tomatoes and I need them to kind of start breaking down. I want to get this all smoothed out with my immersion blender before I add my ground beef. So, and we're gonna let that start getting up to a boil and start breaking down those tomatoes. And now we're gonna start working on our ground beef mixture. Hey guys, I'm not used to cooking yet with the camera. I forgot to get it started for the start of the ground beef, but you can see here we're browning our ground beef. I put in the shallots at the start with the olive oil underneath the ground beef. And we're just gonna let that brown up real nicely. I'm doing the beef, I've got 5 pounds of ground beef. I'm gonna do 2.5 pounds in this batch and then 2.5 pounds in a batch after so that I can properly brown the beef. Oh yeah, this is browning up really nicely. Those shallots adding a nice flavor to the beef. All right, we're gonna let that get up to temp one more time. All right, immersion blender time. Oh my goodness, that is so silky smooth. And now we're gonna stir in our ground beef and shallot mixture. Oh, this is gonna be so delicious. And now all the hard work is done. We've got a beautiful sauce going here. Oh, look at that, just coming together. And it's gonna cook down and tender up that meat. Okay guys, our pasta's got a minute left. Right now we're gonna go ahead and just dip in and take a good amount of that starch water for when we cook off our pasta in our sauce. And again guys, no oil in there, just salt. The oil will make the pasta sauce not be able to stick onto your pasta, and that's the goal with the starch water, is to be able to have the pasta adhere, or the sauce adhere to the pasta. We're getting this pan up to heat to go ahead and add our pasta sauce. Get that up to a boil essentially, to go ahead and boil off any excessive moisture that's left in the sauce. We did cook it down significantly the first day, about 1 inch to 2 inches from the original height that you saw it. But when you're cooking off your pasta, you want to be able to cook off a lot of the moisture there so that the pasta sauce actually adheres to the pasta. I'm putting about a ladle worth of ragu in there. I'm going to add a little bit of my starch water. And you can see now that we're boiling off some of the water content in there. And that's part of why almost every time when you were a kid eating in America any sort of pasta, you would have a bunch of water around your pasta and it would never stick, and you would slurp it up and it would go all over you. This is why, because people never cook down their pasta sauce properly. You can see here we got our pasta. You can see how large that is, and we did not put any oil on that. It's very sticky, and hopefully that helps the sauce adhere to this. Now we're just going to allow that pasta sauce to start adhering to that pasta. And you can see our water content is getting lower and lower in there. We're going to lower that heat a little bit. Just turn that around. And like I said, this is a little bit longer of a version of how to do this, but with this pan, you don't want to attack it in any other way. I found out the hard way. And now you can see that pasta starting to really latch on to that sauce. And I like my pasta to be a little more saucy, so I probably put a little bit more in here than you actually have to, but that's the way I like it. And then while that's finishing up, I have some fresh basil from the garden. Oh, that fresh basil smells so good. And you can see most of the water has cooked out of that. This is going to make for a really nice pasta. You can see all that water content is just slowly boiling out of there and creating a really yummy pasta. All right, finish with a little basil. You can see, guys, just a wonderful plate of pasta right there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. Make sure we got a little basil there. Oh, guys. Oh. That is the reward for all the work we do in the garden. Oh, it's so good.